Yesterday on this channel, we covered how Republican Congressman from Florida, Ted Yoho, called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. He called AOC disgusting and an effing B word right outside Congress, right on Capitol Hill yesterday, because AOC has the position, the correct position, that there is a link between crime on the one hand and poverty, inequality, insecurity, and a lack of opportunity on the other. And he called her these awful words. He tried to embarrass her and dehumanize her and mock her in a personal way. This went well beyond, passionate political disagreement. And so a lot of folks were demanding that Ted Yoho apologize to AOC. And while technically he apologized today in the House of Representatives, the apology was fake, disingenuous, whatever you want to call it. He didn't actually mean a word he said, and he didn't take accountability for his actions. I'm not going to play you that apology because, again, it was fake. It was disingenuous. It has no place being passed off as a real apology. I'm going to put a link in the description, though, so you can watch it, after you see this video. But I want to read you AOC's response to the non-apology, because I think it demonstrates how we have to do more when people apologize. We can't just accept apologies from powerful people just because they say the word sorry or I apologize. The apology has to be sincere and it has to take accountability. Whether it's an apology to a fellow politician, but especially when they're apologizing to us. So AOC said, Republican response to calling a colleague disgusting and an effing B word with I cannot apologize for my passion and blaming others. I will not teach my nieces and young people watching that this is an apology and what they should learn to accept. Yoho is refusing responsibility. He does not apologize or name any action he did. Does not accept responsibility. Lies. This was not a quote-unquote conversation. It was a verbal assault. Distracts by making it about poverty. Ironically. Says everyone else is wrong and the incident never happened. This is not an apology. He didn't even say my name. Again, in those remarks he makes, he says that the words said either weren't said or he was saying them not aimed at anybody. He was just saying effing B word, maybe to the air. Maybe he was expressing frustration. Maybe he stubbed his toe. I don't know. But what everyone heard was very clear that that was related to his disagreement with AOC, and it's connected to the fact that he called her disgusting and basically tried to ambush her as they were crossing each other's path into and out of the Congress. And again, as AOC noted yesterday, Ted Yoho has never spoken to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez since both have been in Congress. And AOC's been in for almost 2 full years now. So they don't have a conversational relationship. And I think this is crucial. Some Republicans are going to say AOC is being, opportunistic here. Ted Yoho apologized and now she's trying to turn the screw a little bit because she knows that he looks bad and she should just be gracious and accept the apology. And that might be true if this was genuine, but it isn't. He basically defends himself. He says, on the one hand, I didn't say what I said. He says later on that I'm not going to apologize for my passion. What you did wasn't passionate. It was rude. It was rude and dehumanizing and embarrassing. And it was awful. It was unprofessional. It was unbecoming of somebody who needs to treat their colleagues with respect, whether they are Republicans or Democrats or independents or whoever. It's not passionate. And he even tries to excuse it by saying, well, I was poor once. I was on food stamps with my wife and I didn't commit any crimes. So obviously AOC is lying, giving a totally unverifiable anecdote from many, many years ago, even though he and his party have always tried to make things harder for poor people and have rarely, if ever, tried to make things easier for poor people. For a man that supposedly understands poverty, he certainly doesn't show any sympathy towards the poor in the here and now. This is what we're dealing with here. AOC absolutely dissects the issue perfectly. You do not need to accept an apology, especially from someone in a position of immense power, if it isn't genuine, if it doesn't take accountability, and if it doesn't at least implicitly offer a sense for how that person is going to do better in the future. AOC is telling folks, she's telling young people, but she's also telling a lot of people who are going to be disproportionately marginalized, that when rich white men tell you sorry and expect you to just move on 100% without any grudge left, you don't have to take that. You can still feel wronged. You can still feel the apology is insufficient. And I think that this is a great sign that the new generation of politics, the new generation of politicians, the new generation of people on the ground are not just going to take sorry as a carte blanche excuse to ignore when people do bad things.